Hello, everyone. Sorry for the slight delay there. And welcome to your Schmoe. We are the European-based and South African. Don't worry, Ben, I haven't forgot you. Schmoedown after show. But this week we're going to do something a little bit different. Obviously, Schmoedown is on hiatus, so we thought it might be nice for you guys to get to know us guys a little bit better. So we have got a very, very special guest joining us, who's going to be our interviewer today, and we can now reveal. Our special guest is Luke. Yay! Luke's a big friend of the show. He's come on and helped us out this year. So we couldn't think of anyone better to interview us all. So thank you so much, Luke. How are you doing? How's your week been?
Doing very good. Had Thursday and Friday watched Spider-Man twice. I'm just so y'all know, I am struggling not to talk about that movie because I'm in love with it. I could watch it 5 or 6 more times.
Oh, I feel you and agree. I want to go back. I'm going to try and go tomorrow at some point. I absolutely love the movie. I did put a reaction on the channel, our very first one. It's really poor quality, but I couldn't even speak. I was so emotionally all over the place. Like nothing came out. I just splurged because I was so excited after watching it. And it was about 1 a.m. in the morning or like midnight or something. So I was tired, and I have a story about my actual experience of watching Spider-Man, which maybe Luke can ask that later. But it was not fun getting there, but it was worth it in the end. So it was a great fun. So yeah, as you know, we've got Matt and Ben with us as always, and I think we should just jump straight into it. So we're going to just be having a bit of a get to know, kind of a hangout. Please join in the comments. We'd like to see what you're saying. Hi Ryan, hey Thomas, I see you there in the comments today. Great to have you back as always.
Hello there.
So yeah, we're gonna pass our reins over to Luke, our friend from Galaxy Geeks. And Luke, you are our interviewer today. So would you like to take it away?
All right. Hey everyone. So happy I was able to do this. Before we start, just was gonna say I think y'all's opening song, it might be my favorite opening song of any of the after shows in general. I just enjoy it so much.
Thank you. Thank Ben for that.
It just works so well. It matches y'all's personality. So I will start with Matt, then Liam, then Ben, and we'll go from there.
Okay, see you in a minute.
All right. What's up, Matt?
What's up, Luke?
All right. So to start out today, tell me about yourself. What do you do? Like, what's your career, and do you have any siblings?
I'm a student. As many of you already heard probably on the show, I'm from Croatia. So I live in the Mediterranean part of Europe. I'm studying to be an educator. So I will be a counselor. Hopefully I will be done with my college this year, and then start working in some school or kindergarten or somewhere where I can find a job. I also really enjoy playing board games and role-playing games. I'm a big fan of D&D and Terraforming Mars or something like that. If you are in the board games, you will know what that is. I have one older sister, and I am 26 years old. That's something about me, like my personality. And I really, really like people. I'm very social. Sometimes, like my girlfriends like to say, I'm too social and open to people. So yeah, I'm very social person.
So what made you want to go into teaching? Like, what was it that drove you towards that career?
Yeah, I actually first finished 3 years of computer science.
Nice.
I volunteered in some places like schools or kindergartens to help children. I also swam for 15 years, so I helped kids with autism and Down syndrome to teach them how to swim and how
Oh,
to
cool.
get to socialize more through sports. So when I started to like try to work with in the computer science, I saw that I'm not cut for it. Not that I didn't know it, but I was very bored in the office for 8 hours straight. So I liked doing working with kids. So I decided that I'm going to be a counselor and help kids actually do something with their life.
Nice. That's
Yeah,
honestly that kind of drive and that goal and just your heart for people. It's really shown, especially in the show. And honestly, thank you for everything you've done.
yeah. Thank you for everything you've done and helped us with the show and the graphics and everything else. Yeah,
Well, let's go on and move on to Liam.
yeah.
Hey Luke, how you doing?
Hey, Liam. So, well, same question. Tell me about yourself. What do you do? What do you have any siblings? What you got?
Yeah, so I'm actually similar to Matt in that I am a counsellor. So,
Oh,
well, I'm
cool.
currently in my final year of a diploma to become a counsellor. I went to uni and did psychology. So I'm a psychology graduate, graduated in 2018. And then last year I decided when COVID hit, I lost my job. So I wasn't quite sure
Mm,
what to do. And I always wanted to go into counselling. So I thought, why am I waiting? Let's just do it now. So I'm almost at the end of that. And I got a new job earlier this year. So I work in mental health with university students. So I do one-to-one support and anything with like emotional support throughout their university. All my students I work with get sort of funding to support their mental health. And I basically offer like one-to-one sessions each week where we do like check-ins and might help them with scheduling, that sort of thing.
nice. So let me ask you this, because a lot of people, due to the type of career you're going into, what was it about that type of career that really interests you? Like, what was it about your past? What was it that? What
Mm.
was the moment where you're like, wow, I want to help people. I want to counsel others.
I think so. Not to go too dark, but I've had lots of my own mental health problems growing up, and never really felt like I had anyone to support me. And a lot of counsellors, which is not a bad thing at all, tend to be older and tend to be women. And I wanted to give a different option for sort of younger people to go to. So, there wasn't anyone sort of like I could relate to when I was at school or college who I felt like I could speak to. So I wanted to offer a different option for some students in particular, although I do work with older people as well. And then also I wanted to do a lot of work with LGBT because I never had that support myself. So that's why I sort of went into that field. And yeah, I hope that explains it.
Hey, putting yourself out there explaining mental health is so important. So many people need to hear that, because everyone struggles with something. My wife deals with mental health issues where she dealt with stuff in her past. Everyone has something. For me, I was blessed where my life I did not have any mental health issues. I had great parents, and so people out there who are able to use what they had growing up and help others is so important. And so you being able to do that is great. So don't be afraid to share what the journey and your mental health stuff that you went through, because so many other people need to hear it.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And yeah, so I have this tattoo as well,
Oh,
which
cool.
is a semicolon, which part of the semicolon project. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Yes. Is it suicide prevention?
Yes, that's the one.
Yes.
So like the meaning behind it is, so in literature when you're writing, a full stop ends a sentence but a semicolon keeps it going. So that's like the meaning behind it. So that's partly because my own issues, and then I've also had like I know people who have committed suicide. So that's partly also why I went down into that field and wanted to work in mental health. I really use a lot of humor as well. And
Yes.
surprisingly, I actually can use it in counselling sometimes, not all the time, but I find it's quite nice to sort of sometimes to bring it in. And I'm quite jolly on this show. I love humor. I've done a bit of stand up in the past, which I've shown to the Schmoe guys, which I think they thought was okay. I don't know if I'm going to go back into it maybe one day, and maybe I might put something on the channel if I feel brave enough, but not for a while.
I don't blame you. So
Yeah.
let's go on and move on to Ben.
Thanks, Luke.
Ben, you're muted.
Yeah, someone.
You hear me okay, babe?
Yep, I hear you. Sorry. Someone muted me and
You're
I
good.
wasn't sure why. I thought I was coming through okay.
So, in saying that, Ben, tell me about yourself. What do you do? Do you have any siblings? What is your career?
I'm a Christian only child. My career is I do the purchase orders, quotes, and general admin of the company.
Nice. What got you into that type of career?
Basically, I needed. So a friend of mine was working for his mother, and he left the job. He was doing the job that I'm doing now, but with a little bit less responsibility. And then he left to go to another company, and his mother needed help. So they basically brought me on as help, and I've been here for going on 3 years in March, I think.
Nice.
I have been seeing everyone in the comments say that everyone's so young. I just wanted to say I'm pretty much the elder of this group at 30. So
Wait, how old are you?
nearly 30.
Dude.
Sorry, I didn't know that. I had to jump in. Oh my god, Ben! I thought you were like 28. I swear to God,
me too.
I can't not jump in for that. What? Wow, Ben, that's crazy. You never told us
What?
that.
Yep.
What?
Wait,
Wow,
how
sorry.
did y'all not know?
I just never thought. I just assumed you're in your
I've
30s or
I've
late
just told
20s.
them.
I
I've
knew
just
it.
told
I
them
knew.
I'm older than all of them.
He told us after last show he's turning 30. Liam, he literally told us that he's turning 30 last week.
I must not have clocked.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, I'll leave again. I just couldn't not comment on that.
Yeah, I understand.
Wow.
Sort of point this out. Thank you,
Wow, I
Ryan.
think-
You're awesome too. We love our fans.
Thank you, Ryan. Right. Hey, Ryan pops on our show Ryan and Brian. They both are some of the best Schmoedown fans and just people in general. So I love them in every chat I've ever been in. So let's move on to Matt for the next question.
Cool.
All right,
Okay.
Matt. Here's the one that everyone's been wanting to know. Why did you fall in love with movies?
Oh, so okay, this is a like not a difficult but a little longer story. So, firstly, I really liked martial art movies when I was a little, like old Bruce Lee ones, Once Upon a Time in China, and stuff like that. Like I really didn't, of course, when I was a little, I didn't like appreciate movies that much until I was like something like 16, 15. Then me and my friends started to go to the cinema every week because on Wednesdays our cinema had special promotion when you can go to cinema for something like $3. So $3 and you can go to the cinema. And that was pretty like cheap. It was affordable in Croatia. So we decided that we will go literally every Wednesday. I was in the cinema and I watched all kind of films because when I was like younger than that, like 13, 14, I really didn't want to watch dramas and thrillers and stuff like that. And of course, when you go to the movies every Wednesday, then you actually start watching many kind of movies because there is not that many movies that you can go every Wednesday and still every time watch a different movie. And with that experience, I actually fall in love in every kind of movie. I still appreciate fantasy the most because that's just who I am. And what really pushed me that I'm a real movie lover is when I started to watch actually anime movies, but
Yeah.
proper movies. I'm not talking about Naruto movie that came out as a part of the like something, but proper Naruto Miyazaki movies that like proper anime movies that are like from Ghibli and stuff like that. Because I saw that what those guys are able to do with animation, uh, the deep messages they sending with those movies. I still think that those movies are one of the best, and I still think that many times, unfortunately, Japanese animation was overlooked for the best animation in the Oscars and stuff like that. I really love. I really started to appreciate what can director do with the movie, and what the like sound can do with the movie in that period. So yeah, that's how I really started to fall in love with the movies, not just the story of the movie. Yeah.
Nice. Under that category, though, do you have any fandoms other than just anime that you really enjoy watching?
Yeah, I actually enjoy watching almost everything: Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter. But Lord of the Rings is my bread and butter and favorite thing. I think I watched the yeah. I think I watched it 70 times,
Oh
and
wow.
I'm not exaggerating. I really think I watched it at least 70 times in my life. Of course, the extended editions, and and yeah, I read all the books, and yeah.
Nice. Well, let's move on to Liam.
Hello. Sorry, I'm cutting Matt out because
I
he's
will
going to talk
remember
about
this,
it.
Liam. I will remember this.
We've debated Lord of the Rings before. I really tried, and I know it's really popular. I just can't get into it. I tried like several times. I just can't.
I like Lord of the Rings. I am not a super mega fan of it. I enjoy major parts of it, but there are sequences where I am bored out of my mind.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
I
I
mean,
thought it was because I was younger and I was a bit like
yeah.
immature at the time. But then I've watched it again as an adult, and I just still can't get hooked. And I feel like I should get hooked because everyone says how good they are, but it's just not happened for me. Um, Maybe I'll try
Well,
again
this
in a couple years.
well, this might actually help answer that question of why you don't enjoy it as much. What was your love of movies? Where did it come from, and what type of movies do you enjoy?
Yeah, I think I always liked movies growing up. I think in particular, I remember certain films like really resonating as a child, like a few Disney films. I remember I was really obsessed with Tarzan, and then I used to watch The
My favorite
Incredibles.
Disney movie.
Nice. Oh, it's so underrated. I think
Oh,
people just really sleep on Tarzan.
it's an incredible movie with the soundtrack is bar none the best
Yeah.
soundtrack in any Disney movie ever. Just ever.
I'm pretty sure like my Spotify Wrapped came up the other day, and I think "You'll Be in My Heart" was in my top 10 of songs listened to last
So
year.
good.
So I'm quite happy with that. Um, yeah, and I think I just grew up liking movies, and then I used to have an Incredibles DVD, and it was the only thing that would work on my telly growing up. So I just watched it every night for like a year. So there was a
Mm.
time I knew every line of The Incredibles. I probably can't anymore. It's not even my favorite Pixar film. It was just all I had. And then when I got to uni, one of my flatmates, she also really enjoyed movies. So we used to go cinema a lot because we have like this. I don't know if you have it in America, but it's like limitless. So you can go you pay a monthly fee and you go as many times as you want. Um,
That was Movie Pass, and it didn't last long.
Oh yeah, so it's kind of like that, but the actual cinema owns it, so it's not like someone coming in and doing it. But we used to go like probably twice a week, and then we really like the Oscars as well, so we used to stay up for the Oscars overnight because obviously it'd be overnight for us, and we would make sure we like get on the energy so we can stay up the whole evening, and that really got me into it. And then I became a massive Marvel fan, so I'm really into MCU. Love Star Wars as well. Those are my two franchises that I'm really into.
Same.
I obviously adore all the Disney Plus Marvel stuff as well. I'm loving the synergy between the shows and the movies now, more so than what it used to be. Obviously, Spider-Man I could talk about for hours, and I'm just so pleased we can discuss it now because now it's out. I was hated not being able to talk about it. I'll just tell you my story of what happened on Spider-Man because it's
Go
actually
ahead.
quite tragic. So it came out on Wednesday in the UK, and I could have seen it like 10 a.m. or something, but I was working, so I was like, my friends wanted to go as well, so I booked it the day it came out for tickets, and we booked an 8 p.m. screening, so we all had time to get there for after work. This is like a 50-minute drive away because I've moved recently.
Ooh.
It's not that long, but it's enough to like make the effort to get there. So we booked it for 8 p.m. We arrive, we walk into the cinema like ready to go in about sort of 10 to 8, that sort of time. And then there's a little notice on the thing that 8 p.m. screening of Spider-Man No Way Home has been cancelled due to the projector not working. So I had rushed from work, I work from home, but I'd rushed to get there through traffic. I got there in time. I had a really stressful time getting there. And then we get there, and then our screening was not on. The only thing they offered us was 11:30 p.m. front row, and we had really nice seats at the back because we prefer sitting at the back.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it because I was working the next day, so I panicked. And I have a cinema near where I live, and I just looked for anything, and I found one seat at the back. So I went and watched it by myself with complete strangers next to me. But I'm just pleased I was able to see it that night. But it was the worst possible film of all time it could have happened to. It's the most anticipated movie of my life, and then that happened. Couldn't believe it. It was so stressful.
That's so sad.
Yeah, but we got to see it in the end. Well, I did, and they went to that screening, so I could talk to them afterwards at like 2 a.m. in the morning. But yeah, just so sad. But at least I've seen it. That's the main thing. That's the main thing. And no, I didn't get spoiled.
That's a massive. It's a movie where everyone who walks out of there wants to talk about it more and more, and there's so much buzz around it, and everyone's so excited. There's a reason why tomorrow for our channel we are doing a open spoiler discussion on our channel, and I cannot wait for that. That will be fun.
Yeah, I'm very jealous.
I cannot wait. It's gonna be so much fun. So, in saying that, let's move on to Ben. Hey, Ben.
Hello.
So, what got you in the movies and why you love it?
So mine would be I have always gone to movies with my family. Watched the Titanic as like a 4-year-old. Cried and had my Smarties go all over the floor at the most dramatic scene. Probably one of my oldest movie memories. And then I used to go to movies with my friends when I was a lot younger. And then a few years back, a friend of mine from church, actually, he's an animator, and he asked me about what movies I like. And so he started sharing his movies that he likes with me, and that got me back into the whole movie thing again. So especially with, as Matt said, animation. I've always loved animation. Pixar has been my go-to movie that I will constantly watch. And I've I've basically just always loved movies and movie trivia, basically
Nice.
trivia in general, even. Yeah.
Awesome. So let's move on back to Matt with the next question. All right, Matt. Here's the hard and hidden question. Let's see how you do. Why do you like the Schmoedown?
Why do I like the Schmoedown?
Or actually, how did you find it and why you like it?
Yeah, I found it because I really watched Schmoes After Dark.
The infamous show that how it sounds would get the Schmoedown canceled today.
Yeah, for sure. There is, you can just imagine a drunk Christian, drunk Gucci, drunk Makuga, and drunk Alice spitting fire, and yeah, no way. With some things that and the comments they had about women especially, yeah. And Christian said that. I think that Christian actually said that on some shows, like and his own shows, that if he did that today, there is no way, like no way. But yeah, we all know that before some things were like more accessible to people to do, and I'm not saying it was okay and right. I just saying I watched it because it was funny, like hanging out with the friends in the bar. Actually, that was like my experience with Schmoes, and then I started to watch Schmoes Now as well, and it was the same experience, just a little toe down and talking about movies mostly. So I really liked the dynamic that when you watched it, you actually have a feeling that you are actually just listening to your friends. That was like my dynamic, and then I first get into the actually movie fights, and I liked to hear the debates. And then I started in the first season of the Schmoedown. Actually, I didn't watch it regularly, but when I had time, I would rewatch the oldest all the matches from season one. Then I watched the season two, and then I got hooked at so many others. I got hooked in just
That's
big way in the season three. Yeah, because that when we started to have storylines, Rockham and Sting, Bespen, then Merle came in, and yeah, I think that's mostly for most of the fans who are here longer. I think that's the case. So yeah, and I was a wrestling fan as well. Before I really liked wrestling when I was a kid, so I get all the aspects of storylines and playing a character and heel face dynamic. So that's fun for me as well. But I am a trivia buff. I like trivia as well. So I do prefer trivia, but I like the inclusion of the storylines as well.
nice. All right, Liam, let's go.
Same question.
I guess if you can answer it. I don't know if you can or not.
So I used to be really obsessed with AMC Movie Talk, and I think which then converted to Collider Movie Talk. Like, and when I say obsessed, I did not miss an episode. Like, it was my favorite thing to watch back in the day when it was sort of John Schnepp, Christian Mark. I think Campia was hosting quite regularly. Perry, I think she came a bit later. Jeremy Johns, like that era. I don't know if you ever watched Movie Talk.
Yeah. Oh, I watched every week, every day.
Yeah.
Actually, that was my favorite show during the week.
I was the same, like obsessed. Like I would not miss a day, and I loved it. And then I used to watch Heroes as well, and then Jedi Council, like that era. I could just absolutely adored it. And then obviously they brought Schmoedown into the same channel. I think that was the first. Was it season 3? I can't remember exactly what season it was, but that's how I found it because they started advertising it through Movie Talk. And then I remember the first match I remember watching properly was the Campia Dan Murrell match. So whatever season that was, which I think was 3. You may know it better than me. is when I really become invested. And I really fell in love with Clark that year, Clark Wolf. And Roker as well. So those were my two favorite personalities. Clark had quite a good run that year. She got to the singles title, but then she lost to Murrell. But I really loved rooting for her. And then all those personalities that we found through it, I started to watch more of their own content as well. So that's how I found it. And then I've just been hooked ever since. Yeah, that's it really.
Awesome. All right, let's go on to Ben. All right, what got you into the Schmoedown? Why you like it and how'd you find it?
Righty. So I have a bit of a thing. I don't actually know how I got subscribed to Schmoedown at first. I think I followed someone because a few years back, somebody made a comment that comic books. It was some late night talk show host was saying how comic books are just picture books for adults or something like that. And I saw a lot of people making replies to that comment. And I think I followed a chain down from there to subscribe to the Schmoedown. And I saw the reveal of the 5 Horsemen. And I thought I have to watch this, but I have to watch it from the start. But I kind of because I thought it was like a wrestling sort of thing where they post things online under like behind a paywall, and then they release things onto their YouTube channel as like a clip. So I was like, okay, I'll get into this one day. And then during the pandemic, I was looking for stuff to watch, and I saw Liz Shannon Miller in a tournament on my on my subscriber feed, and I was like, "Huh, this looks interesting," and I hopped onto that. I was like, "This is really cool," and so I jumped onto it, and that's why Liz is my favorite competitor. And yeah, I've loved it ever since. I've gone back and watched season 3, 4. Still need to watch 5 and 6, but I'm gonna do that soon, probably in this break. So yeah.
Nice. All right, let's move on back to Matt. What's up, Matt?
Well, I'm waiting for another curveball to go.
I've got one. I've got exactly the curveball. If you were in if you were in Christian Harloff's role, if you were in charge of the Schmoedown, and you could do whatever you wanted with the Schmoedown today and what it is today, what would you do and how would you handle it?
Oh God. This could be a whole show. This answer.
Give it to me in about 5 minutes.
Yeah,
what are quick things you would do?
What would I do? First, I think that going back live, it's right. It's right choice. I would do a hybrid. I think if you can put one. You can put one vision online if you have to, just for the cost, and if you have a lot of competitors outside of the state to get the cost lower. And the main thing I would do is make it that all the matches serve the storyline. I'm not saying that matches should be fixed. I have a perfect example. The things that happened with the corruption tournament, and when they had a Todd and who is the real commissioner, and what is the thing that Kalinowski is blackmailing commissioner with. Like every match that season, it wasn't fixed, it wasn't prearranged, but every match was spinned. It was like had a spin that actually fits into the storyline. And then when that was over, then they did it like a spin for the how to make a new teams. They already knew which teams would be. Actually, I think that's common knowledge. I think that they knew what teams will be drawn out of the hat, but they spin it like it was a corruption thing. So I would do that because I think that that's the sweet spot. So you don't make you make one big storyline that pushes any match that can happen. You make that kind of storylines like corruption was and stuff like that. So I think I would do more of that. That would be my big thing. Um yeah. Also, I would personally look at that betting around because I just maybe recency bias, and that's a big thing in this. I think that betting around has broken couple of matches really hard with some player missing and some player getting, and that's a 6 point swing right there. And I think maybe that's too much. Just maybe, and yeah, that's it. But the main thing is I would make the storylines that it doesn't matter which matches happen. It only matters that you have matches and storylines can move forward, but every match fits into the story. Yeah,
All
that
right.
would be my, because I think that Schmoedown sweet spot and perfect season was actually the one with all the corruption things, and that was the one that I enjoyed the most.
All right. Let's move on to Liam.
Hey,
Hey, so Schmoedown. If you were the commissioner, what would you do and how would you handle it?
that's a really tough question because I kind of want to trust in the process of Christian. I know I've moaned a little bit and maybe been a bit harsh about some of the decisions, but I do trust his vision. I'm really excited for next year. I don't really know what's going to happen, and I kind of want to sort of just see. I think the one thing that concerns me, which I would maybe pull back on a little bit, is prioritizing some of the characters over the trivia. I think characters are important when they're also good at the trivia, i.e., the outlaw, and like he was the package because he could do both. I think what my concern is for next year is people like Sir Flaus, which I do think is very funny. If he's going to take spots away from someone like, I don't know, like a Peggy Gubbins, who I know is going into FCL, that sort of thing I'm not sure about. But I also want to just see how it plays out because it may work really well. I'd like to throw it back to you, interviewer Luke. What are your thoughts on what you think you'd like to change?
If I were going to change anything, first off, I would make the Schmoedown kind of what Christian is going about, where he's putting more of a focus on the more storylines and character work. But also, if I were the commissioner and this would be a lot of work, I would go out of my way and make sure on every single one of my shows, like if it's the big thing, or if it's a Jedi Council, or any of these shows, I would have at every single competitor on my shows, or encourage them to create their own channel or their own shows, because the Schmoedown, y'all have all talked in the last one we all talked about, y'all were like, oh, we found it because of Collider, or because of Movie Talk, or because of this, or because of that, because you didn't go to the Schmoedown. You saw something that you enjoyed listening to, and then seeing, oh, this person does this thing called Movie Trivia Schmoedown. Let me check it out. I like movies. And so you're already looking out for a movie talk show. You were not looking for a trivia show. So I would create stars within my Schmoedown, where if you're not even a big YouTuber, I would make you a YouTuber. I would go out of my way to work with you, to build you up, so that you have something to plug, and so that you can encourage people to come watch you on the the Schmoedown. People enjoy character. People enjoy the people who are playing. If you don't care about Dan Murrell, you don't care if he wins or not. But since everyone cares about these people outside of just them playing in movie trivia, then it creates a bigger Schmoedown. That's why in the past couple of years, you've not really been gaining new fans because everyone that you've gotten don't have a fan base. They don't have fans that are coming along with them. In the past, you were bringing fans with you.
So I think it's a really good take. And I think, like I said, I really rooted for Clark, but I loved her on other shows, which is probably why I think I really liked her on Nightmares. I think she did for a while, and she'd pop up on Movie Talk and whatnot. And that's why
you were rooting for her as a person. You cared for her.
I probably hadn't realized until you just went through your points. So yeah, good. I like it. I'm glad I threw it back because you had a better answer than me.
Well, I think that's something a lot of people forget. And I think everyone in the chat, everyone on different shows, they forget why they went to the Schmoedown. The last question we asked was really good because it's like, well, how did I find this? Where you found it is why the Schmoedown is what it is. Because there were other things that you were in love with, that you fell in love with these people. If you only see these people on a show once in a while, you're not going to care how they do in the Schmoedown. You're just not. Like, Griffin Newman was great, but you don't know Griffin Newman as a person, so it's hard to root for him because he's not a person. He's a player. He's a character. You care for the person over just their character. Roka. Roka brings a fan base because it's Roka and he has his own audience. Coy does the same thing. The Real Rejects do the same thing there as well. They bring something to the Schmoedown. They add something. It's all about adding something to the product. If you can't add anything, then you're not helping the product.
I like your take, and I agree with it.
All right, Ben, let's move on. All right, Ben, if you were in charge of the Schmoedown, what would you do and how would you handle it?
Okay. I have some disagreements with you, but yeah.
Okay.
Here's what I would do. I know no one here except for Ryan actually watches AEW, but there was a segment they had recently where CM Punk and another wrestler, MJF, basically had like a promo segment where they went after each other, and then they had the guy go off and do another match, but you still had that storyline of CM Punk versus MJF be that storyline. For me, I would go, okay, you have your rivalries building up, right? So you have maybe two matches on a card if you can, and then you in between that you have like a promo segment or a backstage segment where you'll see maybe Bibiani walking backstage getting ready for his next match, and I don't know, let's say Mike Kalinowski comes and bumps his shoulder and he's like, wow, rude, and then they butt heads, and then you have that storyline going for a while. For me, that would be how I would build up the storyline. Yes, you have your big storyline as well, like your corruption and all that, but you give your characters reasons to actually have a trivia fight rather than they are there and they are fighting, is my thing.
So let me ask you this: on where do you see it on my take? Where do you disagree? So we can. I'm just very curious on it.
The thing that I disagree with you on is if you don't bring anything to the table like new fans, then you are not useful for the company or for the thing. I don't think that's exactly right, because I think there are people that we have seen that we never knew who they were. but we have fallen in love with them. Like, I didn't know who Paige Fabretti was this beginning of this year. Now I've fallen in love with her as a character. I want to see more of what she does, that sort of thing. I think you if you get people on the show that maybe don't have that background, and you help them to get that background, you can maybe help them to bring about that whole character, and therefore a rising tide lifts all boats, as they say.
Right.
So you help them, they help you, that sort of thing.
Honestly, I don't disagree with you. When I was saying on my take, I was saying basically, if you get someone like a Paige Ferretti, then your job is not just to help her with trivia, get her on shows, get her name out there, get her face out there, not just on after shows. After shows are great, but you want to get to know these people as people. You want to get to know them as a person. Paige Ferretti, people love her because we've seen her on different after shows. She's really put herself out there. She's marketed herself. Same thing with Thomas Harper. Thomas Harper pops up everywhere. I mean, I'm shocked he's not popped up now. He shows up. He shows himself everywhere, and people love him because even though he's becoming a heel, you still love him because he puts himself out there, and so you start to fall in love with the character. People can't always spend that kind of time, but you can at least, I would say, an hour a week being on some show. If you are a Schmoedown competitor, you either create your own YouTube or you try to pair up with someone else. Like on the What channel, they have Taylor Cleet, who Taylor Cleet pops is on their show. They're one of the hosts, and so he's able to let people see who he really is, and that gets him more fans due to that. So you don't have to come into the Schmoedown with something, but you better come out of the Schmoedown with something.
So that brings a thought to my question. So to my mind. So what happens if you have someone like Taylor Cleek, right? Let's say I haven't actually watched his show. Sorry, people on what network, but I haven't actually watched his shows yet because I haven't had time. But if he comes off as a nice guy there, but on the Schmoedown comes off as a bit of a jerk, I mean, do you let that explain itself, or do you have people say, well, why are you being such a jerk on this show, but you're actually a nice guy here?
Actually, it helps even more. It established this idea of character. You've seen this in the past with other shows. You had Mike Kalinowski, who I love listening to on DC Movie News, and then he did the heel turn on the Schmoedown. So there was this different character that it was the real him in one spot, and then the character in the other. And this is what Christian has always said. And Christian has said this. Ben said this. Character in the Schmoedown is an extreme version of the personality that person already has. So right now, Thomas Harper is doing a heel turn. He has that within him already. So you're going to see that within the shows. You don't go in and take Roka and make him act like a Brendan Meyer. They're not the same character. They're two different people. They bring something different to both of them. And so I think you can keep your character, but be real in your other shows, and it just works. You're not going to have that much of a issue because the person who's watching you, they're going to take you no matter what. But do you think he should stay in character in the after shows promoting in the Schmoedown? Here's the thing. I think a little bit of both. If you watch him on different after shows and even when his heel turn, Thomas Harper was still Thomas Harper. He was just being an extreme version of himself. So as long as you are yourself, but able to make it a extreme version of yourself, then you can be whatever you want on after shows and other shows because you're not really changing your personality. You're just bringing out a extreme version. Like Ben Bateman. Ben Bateman went in the Schmoedown. He can be a jerk. He can be a real heel. And that's a good thing because that's his character. In real life, he's not a jerk, but he can be smug sometimes. He can bring out that smugness in him in his character. So your character is just a extreme version of yourself. That's what you'll see on every person. It's their extreme personalities. And when a competitor discovers that, it actually helps them in the long run when they can be their extreme self.
Agreed.
And so let's move on to Matt.
Good.
What is next, Luke?
All right. So this one is not on your list, and because I think I like going off a little bit to surprise y'all. But for your after show, what is the dream guest that you want on the Euro Schmoe show?
Oh, wow. Well, dream guest. Okay, I would love actually to talk at the same time. So it's important that it's at the same time with JT, Roca, and Snyder, and Matt knows about their rivalry in the beginning of the Schmoedown in the season 3, because in the season 3 we didn't have as much of the after shows as we do now, and the competitors going into different shows and giving interviews. So I would really want to hear what really happened. Like, was it really really competitive? And knowing Roca and Snyder, I do think it was really competitive, and like the tension in the locker room, so to say. But I would really want to know how the horsemen versus Dan, the first Dan, the Lions Dan, came to be, and how the tension was, like, in more detail. That would be like my dream, because yeah.
Nice. All right, let's move on to Liam.
Yeah, I know my one. So I mean, I'd like to interview Shire Wolves, but if it was just one you asked for, if I had to pick one person, then I'd say Rachel. So the reason is, a few years ago, I spent a year working in China as an English teacher, like English abroad, and one of the students in my class was wearing a movie trivia Schmoedown top, which blew my mind.
Oh, that's cool.
And then I asked him about it, and he was an older student, so he had some English, so I could interact with him. He said that his family watches it to help him learn English, and his favorite was Rachel. So back in the time, I took a picture with him and put my story on the group, and it got loads of likes, and I think Rachel got hold of it, and Christian put it on like the page and stuff.
I remember that. I actually remember that.
Yeah, when the Shire Wolves had their retirement, they put it up on the Schmoedown thing. It was really cool. But I'd love to talk to Rachel about that story, and I want her to know like how far-reaching she was for fans. Like, this was a young guy in China. When I went into that class to start teaching, I'm starting my lesson, and then I was like, this boy's wearing a movie trivia Schmoedown shirt. It completely threw me off my teaching for like 5 minutes. And then once we were in a break, I spoke to him about it, and I thought it was just going to be he just found the shirt somewhere and he was wearing it, but he actually had a story, and that was so awesome. So I'd love to just talk to her about her impact, and she was my favorite player as well. With Clark, I love the Shire Wolves, so I just want her to know like how well loved she is, because I know they did have some toxicity from fans, but both Shire Wolves, and in particular Rachel, she reached all the way to China. that's so impressive. I didn't even know they watched it out there. I mean, I just happened to be teaching the family of the boy whose family watched Schmoedown. So it's like real full circle, one of those like crazy moments. And yeah, I'd love to just talk to her about her career, about her rivalry with Mike and in IG, and again the matches that they had in teams with corruption, and yeah, obviously how she met Sam, that sort of thing, and their connection. There's just a lot to her story, and yeah, she's my favorite, so that'd be my pick.
Nice. All right, Ben, come on up.
Alrighty.
All right, Ben. Who's your favorite? Who is
Hello.
the interview you want to have more than anyone else from the Schmoedown?
Okay. So, does it have to be a competitor?
It does not have to be an active competitor, but it has to be someone connected to the Schmoedown.
Okay. So, a few months back, I would have said Liz Shannon Miller. But ever since we started doing this show, and especially when we started doing promo of the week, my thing has changed. I want to interview Nerd Chronic.
Nice.
I want to get to know him. I want to get to know his thoughts on the matches, because he has a trivia mind himself. He was going to be a competitor at some point. So I really want to interview him. He's kind of become a hero of mine, especially with the little bit of editing I do for this show. Watching what he does on a grander scale kind of makes him a bit of a hero for me. So yeah, I want to interview him.
Nice. All right, let's move on to Matt. All right, now the next harder question. This one's going to be a tough one too.
Yeah.
All right, for the Euro Schmoe channel, what do you want it to be by the end of next year? What's the goal for the channel?
Okay. So I think that the first goal that I would like to see is for us to start reaching to competitors to actually have some interviews. We had our like baby wheels this year, and I think it's time next year that we take them off. Also, I would love to start exploring some of our interests personally to grow the channel with that has something uh, else besides Schmoedown, like your awesome trailer reactions and reviews you do
Thank
on
you.
your show. And I think that fans could actually see, for example, Liam had a uh, great hectic reaction to Spider-Man that he posted on the channel. But something like that, I think it's perfect for us, because if you talk to us like privately, you see that we are very like happy and outgoing people. And when you look at that reaction, you just see that it's honest, it's not scripted, it's not prepared. It's a real reaction to a film. So something like that, and I really like to have discussions about movies and what is better and what which I prefer and someone else prefers something else. As we can see, like you and Liam preferred Star Wars and Marvel. I would argue to my dying breath that lottery is much better than anything of anything. And so something like that. I would see. I would like to see something like that on the channel as well. But for this show, I would really like just to have some competitors on, and I like the dynamic when we go to each other's shows. We the community. That's one of the most fun things I did this actually season, because that social network that we built, I would I could say that every person I had really some relations to in this community from the after shows. If any of you came to Croatia, if I could, I would open my flat to you, let you stay, and just for us to hang out. And I think that someone like Thomas or Leo or someone who is in the comments here regularly said to me, "Oh, I'm coming to Croatia. Where are you? I would actually go out of my way to try to actually meet that person. So I really want to build the network of people I built on YouTube, because I really like the network that is surrounding Schmoedown. So more of that I would like to see, like more collabs and stuff for the channel, and yeah, something like that.
Nice. All right, let's move on to Liam.
Firstly, there's no point debating Lord of the Rings over Marvel or Star Wars. We both know it wouldn't win. But to your question, yeah, I just checked. We're on 58. We're on 58 subscribers, and I'm really happy with the growth of our channel over 1 year. I think 50 was probably a good aim for us. We didn't have an aim. It's just naturally grown, and a lot of that has been because of the inner support from other networks such as yourself, Luke, and we've had Jcast Network help us out, and Schmoe in the North. You know, Shug, everyone who's helped, we really appreciate it, and I think that's helped us grow. So thank you all for your support. I want to second Thomas in what she said. Teresa coming back. We're very hopeful as well that Teresa will be back for the new season. We can't promise anything. We respect Teresa, and she'll come back when she's ready. I believe she does intend to come back, but we don't know when. But we do hope she'll be back as well. It's nice to have the boys and the three, but I do think we miss Teresa's opinion sometimes. And as much as I often disagree with her, I like having arguments with her. So I have missed having those debates and arguments with Teresa. So hopefully she's back relatively soon. I think for me, I would like the channel to keep growing. I think we got to 50 in 1 year. I wonder if 150 is a good aim in terms of subs. Might be too much to ask for in 1 year, but that growth rate, I think that's a nice aim for the end of next year. And a bit similar to Matt, really, I'd like to do more collabs with other channels, this sort of thing. Luke, you've helped us out so much, and I will always be thankful for you. Even today, you know, we really appreciate you coming on and interviewing.
Thank you.
Really, really thankful. And yeah, I think hopefully next year we can get some competitors on the show. Obviously, we only started off, we didn't really know if that would be possible, but I think we've got somewhat of a fan base now, so we're hopeful that maybe we can start to get some more on. We did have Sol on briefly on our show, and he's the only one we've had so far, and Harp enjoyed us in the comments last week. So maybe we can have a full-on interview one day. That'd be a good aim for next season. So yeah, that's me, and I guess Ben's next.
Well, I was gonna just say, just first off, I've loved y'all's channel. I think it's really starting to grow. My encouragement: don't look at 150 as the goal. Look at 1,000 as the goal. Do something that you're like, wow, how could I do that? But make 1,000 the goal, and then say, okay, what can we do to make it? Let's make that goal. Like the channel looks good, but is there things you can do to change the channel to make it look better? Look at other people's designs for channels. What are they doing? What type of content are they creating? Why is that popular? Like, don't just say, oh, 150 is great. No, look at how can I be up to 1,000? What can I do to get 2,000, 3,000? What is it that I can do, that I can bring to the community, that I can bring to this Schmoedown, that can create something where people want to go watch it and see it and want to interact with us? Like, if it's Schmoedown content, great. But if there's other content, like the movie review you did where it was just coming out, that was great. Look at, like, is there ways that I can update my backgrounds? Is there ways that I can update my camera setup? Is there ways I can do lighting? Like, all these things matter. And people want to see someone who's willing to say, you know what? I'm not happy with where I am today. I want to keep going. I want to get better and better and better. Like right now, our channel is at 621 subscribers. We started in January, and
wow, man.
It was I'm still in awe. But that was due to the fact that I was just not happy. I was not happy with just being. I didn't want to just be consistent. I wanted to be better than consistent. I wanted to be upgrading. I obsessed over it sometimes, but I wanted to always give a better product. I always wanted to give something where people were going to want to come and listen and watch our channel and watch our stuff. And so inviting, like putting yourself out there, like, oh, this competitor, I've never tried to reach out to them, but let me reach out to them on their channel, reach out to them on this or that, and just say, hey, we're the Euro Schmoe. We would love for you to come on. We love what you do, and just being encouraging through that. And so never being okay with second best, but saying, you know, we have a awesome channel. We have the best channel in the world. Let's prove it to every single person that comes on.
It's very inspirational, Luke. I feel pumped. Like, and also, as a congrats, that's amazing for you as well. Like to get to, what was it, 600? Did you say
620?
620 in what, 9 months, 10 months? That's incredible.
About 10 or about 11 months. About 11.
Yeah, that's so well done. Like that's so amazing. Really pleased for you and the growth you're having. And yeah, Ben, Matt, let's have a chat after. Thank you, Luke.
You're welcome. All right, let's move on to Ben. All right, Ben, what do you want to see for the channel?
All right, I may have to leave if we're going to be at like aiming for the very best that they ever can be. I mean, I'm using my mobile data to stream this at the moment. I can't really afford to get better at the moment. But yeah.
Hey, this is what you do, and this is what I've learned throughout the channel, everything else. It does not matter money. It doesn't. Like, it's not about like what money you can spend. I'm literally on a GoPro right now that I got for Christmas a couple of years ago that I was able to use as a webcam. It was pretty cheap on Amazon. But trying to find the most expensive stuff, that's not what does it. Like this green screen right here was $30. The lighting was like maybe $60, maybe, with a ring light. Anyone can update their stuff.
I'm gonna be honest with you. It's $30 in your country. It's probably like 3,000 rand in our country.
Really?
So it's like half our half my salary for the month. Stuff is expensive here. It's like crazy. Your GoPro is like 600-700 rand.
Yeah, I just wanted to say what Ben is saying. In our countries, stuff like that is really expensive. Like, I don't know how, for example, PlayStation 5 in Croatia is $2,000 right now.
Yikes. Wow.
So just to get a comparison, I'm sorry to pop in, Ben, to your time. It's different. Unfortunately, it's different in our countries. Yeah.
Hey, but here's the thing too, though, and I want to say this too. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter like what. It's not about like what stuff you have. What matters is what kind of product do you want to give. What are you giving to everyone that they're not getting from another channel? How can you become the channel that people go to? And that's all it is. It's saying, okay, I can't afford this or this. Okay, what can I do? What can I update? Yeah. What can I get better and better? And that's where things change, is when you're willing to say, you know what? Even though I can't do this or that, I could still do this. I could still update certain things. I could change photos. I could reach out to people to help me with certain things, because there's a whole community of people who are willing to help. Like, that's why I helped y'all with some thumbnails and different stuff, because, you know, people are willing to be encouraging and help.
Yep.
So what? So going back to the question, what do you want? What do you want your channel to look like next year?
I want us to do, as Matt said, kind of branch off and kind of do our interest stuff, things that might be interesting to us. Honestly, like maybe if there's an animated series that we like, maybe talk about that, for example. Something that we can We can talk about other than just the Schmoedown. If we can talk about other stuff as well, that might be cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I will say just encouragement there on is all three of y'all have great personalities. Y'all all three bring something different to this channel. Each one of y'all could do a different video during the week, a different type of video to really put content out there for people to watch. And I promise you over time people will come because y'all have the personality for it.
Thank
All
you.
right. Let's move on to Matt. All right, Matt.
Yep.
All right. Why in the world did you even think to start a channel called Schmoe, and how did you meet these crazy guys on this channel?
Yeah. Okay. I did it. So yeah, this is probably a question for me. It was just okay. I was a big fan of the Schmoedown, and first I had a little community when in the beginning we started to do uh, the fantasy leagues. Like when the drafting the fantasy leagues on the group was all the rage. When the that started, I don't know if you were there then, uh, but I actually was in the group and had a community, and I was really happy with my community. Actually, the Greek guy that was briefly on who walked out with Roca and Matt Nost in one of their matches, and as the security guy
Okay.
was in the league with me, was in my fantasy league. Uh, yeah, I forgot his name. I don't think he's in the community very active right now. I don't think so. Maybe he's. Sorry if you are. But I miss the community, to be honest, aspect of it. And I really wanted to talk with someone in my time zone, to be fair, about Schmoedown, because in Croatia, before, when Schmoedown was on Collider, was one Croatian girl in the whole group and me, and then it was only me left. So I literally just wanted to hang out with people and talk Schmoedown. That was literally my. I do this. I didn't start the channel because I wanted views or I wanted subscribers. I just wanted to hang out with people who love Schmoedown because I don't. I have people to talk about my other interests, but I tried to get my friends to watch Schmoedown. They cannot get into it. So I just wanted to hang out with people who love Schmoedown and talk about Schmoedown. It's very simple and pure, to be fair. And I just one day wrote in the group, I would like to start a European after show that we air in the sometimes in the evenings in probably England time zone, and let the fate decide what will happen. And first Liam commented that he wants to join, and then Ben asked if he can join, that he's from South Africa but that he would like to join. And then we just checked if that we can see in what time zone he is, because we didn't know. And it worked out that he's actually in the same time zone or 1 hour before us, so it was actually perfect. And then when we already started the show, uh, I actually asked Teresa because I saw that she commented something, and I was sure that she was one of the Slavic people, because I'm Slavic people as well, and she was Czech, because I saw the last name, and I just went for it because we talked about that we would really like to have a female on the show, to have that energy. And when she came in, I really do miss her because she
Mm.
really did bring something special. Like Liam said, it's fun when our three boys are here, but she really did bring something special. And the fact that me and her often disagree on stuff was great.
Sorry, I just wanted to jump in and say she brought the fun.
Yeah, she brought the fun, and me and her always disagreed on many stuff. So, but like we like each other as a people, but we disagree so much, and that was so fun in dynamic, and and people just said, "Well, heck yeah, I didn't know any of them before this started," and I think that it took courage in their part as well. Uh, just to start, I'm doing it from my room, like it's my room, my wall, and yeah, and my camera on my laptop. That's it. I really doing it because I love it. Love Schmoedown, and I want to just hang out with all the watchers and listeners. And for me, it's like going to a pub with my friends and drink beer and talk. Yeah, and I'm really happy that many people join us in our pub every Sunday night. So yeah, that's why I did it. Yeah,
Hey, honestly, that's exactly why me and Eli started. Me and Eli were friends in college, and we just stayed friends. And then out of college, me and him both just wanted to talk about Schmoedown together. And we're like, well, let's start a channel. And if you want to go look at some of the worst footage, the worst internet problems, we literally, our first show is us on a Zoom call, and it looks bad. I did not know about Streamlabs. I did not know about StreamYard. I was so in the dark of everything. It looked terrible. But something I would encourage y'all to maybe like after like in the new year, really put an emphasis on that pub feeling. That idea of everyone coming to a pub and talking and really letting themselves go. Like that, like do that. Like create a secondary show where it's like Euro pub where y'all get together and y'all just talk and hang out and have these conversations about not just Schmoedown but movies and different stuff. And it can be a separate show from just the Euro Schmo, and it just gives y'all time to just relax and show the friendship. And because honestly, I thought y'all knew each other before this because y'all have such good chemistry all together. I mean, that's what's crazy. I did not know that y'all had just met through chat. I thought y'all had been connected in other ways, but you can really tell that y'all have great chemistry all together.
thank you.
All right, let's move on to Liam.
Yeah, thank you, Luke. So Matt kind of explained the story. He put on the Facebook page, I'm thinking about starting a European show. Anyone interested? I liked it, and I didn't even comment. I think I just liked. I was too nervous to actually comment. But then Matt contacted me, and I was like, "Looks like I'm doing this now." So I'd wanted to talk Schmoedown, even if it wasn't online and even if it wasn't recorded. I didn't really have anyone to talk to in my time zone. A bit like Matt said, most of the after shows air when I'm sleeping, so yeah. It's nice to have a time which works for me, and just to have people who talk Schmoedown and I can talk Schmoedown with. What I didn't expect and been blown away by is the community. We have consistent people in the chat every week, like Thomas, Leo, Ryan, Brian, and I'm probably missing people, but like that community feel, I've really been overwhelmed in a positive way by. And then the people, like I mentioned earlier, the people who we collaborated with, we knew, but we weren't. I don't think we were expecting that. So I've been really blown away by the community. And yeah, Matt, thank you so much for like starting this. And Ben, Ben does so much behind the scenes. Like you have no idea. I just turn up and like be a bit of a clown and then leave. Like Ben does, yeah, thank you. Ben does everything pretty much. He does all the banners. He sets up the show every week. Like Ben, we owe you so much. Like you kept the show running when we couldn't come on. I just talk nonsense and then go away. Like Ben, you are the heart of your Schmoe, and Matt, you are the one that created it, and Teresa is the fun, and I'm here too. So thank you, thank you, Ben and Matt, for setting this up, and obviously Teresa, we want you back, but when you're ready. And that's my story. So there we go.
Awesome.
Okay.
Honestly, I think y'all, with the chemistry and everything y'all have, y'all are going to be so surprised where y'all are going to be next year. Y'all have such consistent fans that will show up no matter what, like Thomas and Ryan and Brian and Leo. That they're the true fans because they are always everywhere and they put themselves out there and they love this community and they are some of the best people. They show up in our chat all the time and they really do make a difference. They really do, and it makes this worth it. And having people that you connect to, I mean, it really is completely worth it. And y'all having this show on Sunday, no, you don't have another after show on Sunday, not anywhere near this time zone. Y'all have something special that most people don't, and just really put an emphasis on it because y'all are so good at what y'all do. Just really put yourself out there because y'all are really, really great.
Thank you. I need to add my co-host because they deserve the credit. But thank you, Luke. Really appreciate that. I'm going to drop out so Ben can have his say now.
Yes.
That's not entirely true. Liam was the first one to bring the idea of predictions, and he was the first one to to be the braggy guy. He also brought a lot of the fun. I mean, we have Matt, we have myself, we have Teresa. We just click, and I think if one of us goes out, we just feel that hole every time they're out. But yeah, it's that's just
Nice. So let's go ahead and have everyone back on screen real quick, and we'll do the last question. And all of y'all can answer one at a time, but seeing everyone here will kind of make things a little bit more fun on this one. All right. Each one of you, I want y'all to think, what type of show would you want to produce, edit, and put together for a weekly show for the Euro Schmoe channel? Each one of you have something different. If y'all were in charge of it and you could do whatever you wanted with it, what do you want to do that you could do in the next year? And it can be whatever y'all want to do. And I will start this time with Ben.
Okay. I would do anime/animated show discussion. Like we watch a movie or a TV show or a something and just discuss kind of like we do with the Schmoedown, but have it be for a movie or a TV show.
Nice. That would be really interesting, especially if you went the anime route, because there's not a ton of emphasis on anime, and so if you put an emphasis on a specific, be specific on, okay, this is the types of movies we are going to do, we are going to watch. They will be, we watch them on our own, and then we meet together and say, hey, we watched this one this week, let's get together and talk about it. All right.
Yep.
Matt, your turn. What kind of show would you do?
You actually hit it right with the hammer on the nail with something like Europop. I would do the show when we come together, and we can actually, of course, call you guys from the community when we would agree. I don't know. It wouldn't be a weekly show. It would be an event show once
maybe a monthly
month,
show.
Maybe, yeah, and it could last 2 or 3 hours, for example, and it would be fun discussion show about. Okay, I will. Okay, let's say we have a discussion show which is better, Star Wars or Lord of the Rings. But the thing is,
Lord of the Rings. No,
I
kidding.
wouldn't made it that we have like, okay, now you talk, okay, then we judge this, and it would just be a discussion, like you go to the local bar and then you start arguing with your friends. And
Yeah.
I would actually like tell people, just make yourself a little drink or just drink beer, just to have that feel, not to get drunk, but like something like that. And
But
I
not
think
against
that
that
would,
either.
yeah, I think, yeah, yeah, I think that something like that would be fun, uh, just to have like talking shit to each other for 2 or 3 hours, just hanging out. I think that people would respond well to something like that. I think it would be too much to do it weekly. That's just my feeling. Uh, Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, that would be like my show. My show, yeah.
Nice. All right, Liam, your turn. You're the last one.
Yeah, I'm glad you picked me last because I've been like formulating my idea whilst waiting. So I would like to expand the channel out to a bit more movie coverage. And I love talking Schmoedown, but I also love talking movies, and I don't get to talk about movies too often. So my idea is like, we say Mount Schmoedown, who's the greatest four players. I would call it Mount Movies, and then you would have a topic. So say it was Pixar movies, and you can only save four, and then you'd have to debate what four you want to save on Mount Movies, and then everyone can have their picks, and then but you can only save four. The rest are gone for existence. I think just a debate about like the best movies and something like that would be quite fun. Kind of special guests on it. Like I'd love that to become a reality. It's just for me. It's just time. Like time is not on my side at the moment whilst doing my diploma in counselling. But if I get the time to do it, I'd love to do that as well.
Well, if I were going to encourage y'all, first off, with your show, Liam, when it comes to time, just set aside, and you set aside an hour for this show. Set aside 30 minutes to an hour one day during the week, and try and set time to meet with someone or try and at least have one co-host. I do have a question for y'all. If y'all were to really grow the channel and add more content and add more shows, would y'all keep the channel called Euro Schmoe, or would you be willing to change it to something else so that then your Euro Schmoe show stays the Schmoedown show? You'd have a Euro pub, a Euro something. You could keep the Euro within it, but you could almost have like a European network in a way, other than just specifically Schmoedown. What do y'all think?
I would be glad to change it, but it has to have a pun title.
Okay.
I have to speak to boss man Ben. He's the guy that runs.
Yeah.
No.
And I just want to shout out to Ben, because this is like a little backstage from Euroschmo. When we say that Ben is doing all the editing and everything for the show, he does it on a tablet. So he doesn't do it. He didn't have a laptop. He does it on a little tablet. So and it's harder that way. Trust me. So
I know that feeling.
So really, Ben, as we say multiple times on this show, if there is no Ben, there is no Euroschmo. That's the truth, and I'm not because we all had some time constraints this season, and Ben was always there. So yeah, and yeah, I like everything we said. I just want to compliment Luke for his excellent interview skills.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Luke. And please check out the Roker interview. It was such a good interview you and Eli did. I will finish it probably later today, but I very much enjoyed, I think, about the 40 minutes or so I watched.
Thank you so much. Hey, and I just want to let y'all know, if y'all do decide to add more channels or more shows to the channel, reach out. I can help out with some backgrounds and stuff for it, so y'all have something specific for each show, just for thumbnails and stuff like that. If y'all need help with that, just reach out,
Thank
and I'm
you
willing to
very
help.
much.
That'd
All right.
be fantastic. Thank you.
All right,
So-
I think that's the end of the interviews for today.
So I guess
Yep.
we'll
Thank
wrap
you
it
very
up
much.
from there. And Luke, thanks so much again. You have been such a strong supporter of our channel, and I will always be thankful for you and helping us out this year. Thanks so much for coming in. You're a great interviewer. You really listened. I really felt like I could be honest with you, and I touched on some maybe sensitive topics at the beginning, and I felt like safe with your interviewing skills. And congrats on everything that's happened on your channel. Thanks for the advice.
Yep.
We really appreciate it. And again, thanks so much for coming on again and just what you've done for us this year. I'm going to keep banging on about it because I genuinely am so thankful. And we're going to go on a bit of a hiatus now. Obviously, Schmoedown's ended, so we may come back with some other shows or something, but we're probably going to go on a bit of a break. Obviously, we have Christmas and we want to enjoy that. So I guess I'll say from the whole
My
Euroschmo
birthday.
team, yeah, Ben's birthday, so much going on. We want to wish you all a really happy and safe Christmas. And a happy new year. Thanks so much for joining us and being a part of our journey from beginning to now, and just being a part of your Schmoe. Really appreciate it. Ben runs our Twitter, so any updates will go on there. And again, I'm just so thankful to the community. Luke, again, thank you, and we shall see you in 2022. Scary, isn't it? Thank you all for the chat, and see you next year. 2022. My God, we made it.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining us
Bye-bye.
for this show as well. Bye.